So let's talk about iOS 18.4.1. This software update has now been out for a couple of days, and as per usual, I always like to come back and share with you guys my thoughts on the latest updates available for iPhone. And iOS 18.4.1 was released just a couple of days with important bug fixes, security patches, and addressing an issue with CarPlay. Now, I want to talk about the battery, performance, and of course, I also want to talk about some of the latest bugs. I've been testing multiple devices as per usual. For example, I've been testing the iPhone 11, and there's some interesting facts that I want to share in regards to iPhone 11 and older devices here in just a couple of seconds. I've also been testing newer devices like the iPhone 15 Pro Max, and of course, my primary device, the iPhone 16 Pro Max. So let's talk about iOS 18.4.1 a few days later. So the first thing I want to talk about is security, because if you're still waiting to update to iOS 18.4.1, this is Apple's about security content of iOS 18.4.1 and iPadOS 18.4.1, and there's two important security patches being put in place here with iOS 18.4.1 and iPadOS 18.4.1, as you can see right there. So if you're still waiting to update, those are going to be two important security patches available within the latest update that you may want to think about, of course. And now I want to talk about some of the main issues that Apple is hoping to address with 18.4.1, and the main issue here is CarPlay. Now, I did have plenty of CarPlay issues on the latest 18.4 and with 18.4.1, although most of the issues have been resolved, there's still one minor bug or one bug that still persists here on the latest 18.4.1 when I connect my phone to CarPlay in my vehicle. So the one issue is that sometimes, not all the time, when I get an incoming phone call on iOS 18.4.1, CarPlay will crash and disconnect my phone call. Now, it doesn't happen all the time, as I mentioned, but there's still some minor bugs and issues still to address here with CarPlay, even on the latest 18.4.1. Now, not only have I experienced this issue, but I've also seen others express the same issues and concerns with CarPlay, even on the latest update 18.4.1. And the same issue is the incoming call. Sometimes you click accept and it will crash the CarPlay and the call will disconnect. So let me know if you're having CarPlay issues on the latest software update. Now, I want to talk about performance. As I mentioned earlier, there's some interesting things that I want to talk about here, especially with iPhone 11 and older devices. So I did run a benchmark multiple times, and here's iOS 18.4, as you can see right there, running on this iPhone 11, and take a look at some of these numbers here. And again, I've tested other devices such as the iPhone XR and the iPhone XS as well, and I'm getting the same results here. So if you have an older device, let me know if you're seeing the same results here. So 18.4 and 18.4.1, you see there the drastic drop. So 18.4.1, take a look at the number difference right there. So the performance has dropped dramatically on this iPhone 11 after updating to iOS 18.4.1. So 18.4 here below and 18.4 there on the top. You see their single core score and the multi-core score has dropped dramatically. And again, this is across the board from iPhone XS, XS Max, the iPhone 11, 11 Pro, the iPhone XR. So the older devices on the list seem to be impacted in regards to performance according to those numbers, because in regards to actually running the software on this iPhone, everything seems buttery smooth. It's just the numbers look kind of low, as you can see there, in comparison to iOS 18.4 on the older devices running the latest software update. Now, when it comes to the iPhone 15 Pro Max, everything has been running pretty solid, pretty smooth. Again, one thing to note here is that CarPlay issues do still persist here within iOS 18.4.1, and take a look at the numbers there. So basically the same on the newer devices. So I want to say from iPhone 12 or newer, the numbers here in terms of performance look pretty identical when compared to iOS 18.4 and the latest 18.4.1. So this is 18.4, as you see right there, and this is 18.4.1, and you see that the numbers are pretty much identical in terms of performance. Now, I want to talk about the battery life, because I know this is something that you guys always ask about. Although I've only had this software on my iPhone for about 3 days as of the filming of this video, I have to say the battery life has been good to me ever since I updated to iOS 18.2, I believe it was. Battery has been pretty solid on my iPhone, and the one thing to note here, that the battery health is still holding up pretty solid there, as you see, at 100%, a little over 6 months of using this iPhone 16 Pro Max. So in regards to battery performance and battery health, everything seems to be running just fine, although I know that some of you guys are having battery drain issues. So let's talk about the YouTube community poll, because this is where you guys provide some feedback. So I did ask you guys, how's the battery life on iOS 18.4.1? And we have a good 55% of you guys say it's great battery life. We also have a 33% of you guys say it's okay, but it still needs some work. And a 12% of you guys are saying that it is just completely terrible. But the overall consensus, it looks like battery life isn't the worst on the latest iOS 18.4.1 from newer and older devices. That applies across the board. So there you guys have it, just a quick update on the latest update for iPhone, iOS 18.4.1. So again, 2 important security patches, CarPlay still minor issues, and in terms of performance, we saw a slight decrease on older devices, while the newer devices remain basically the same, and battery life, as always, is divided. Some of you guys are having a great experience, some of you guys are having a terrible experience, but overall consensus is pretty solid across the board. Thank you for watching this quick video. I hope you guys enjoy this one, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.